So, The Walking Dead, issue number 144, by Robert Kirkman and Charlie Adlard. We have yet another awesome cover by Charlie Adlard. I love this one. Brick, just great. I love the ones where it's just simply the character's face close up. It's always really cool. Like I have one of Carl and I have one of Rick, so I have one of like I have one for each of the Grimes family as of right now. There's never gonna be one for Lori, I don't think. There might have been one, but I don't really care. You know, she was an okay character, but whatever. That's beyond the point. That's not part of this video. Anyways, issue 144, or as I call Speechless. Also, this is the last one of Compendium 3, so that means that we're starting a new compendium, which is a pretty big deal because it's like, okay, this is the last 48 issues of that compendium, so I mean, this is the last issue of Compendium 3, which is 96 to 144. So that's pretty cool. After this one, we're starting issue 145, and we're starting Compendium 4. But anyways, let's get into this review that I put off for a long time, but whatever, life. And we have issue 145, which comes out tomorrow, which is called Left the Bucket. We'll talk about that later. So this one was the basically finale, I'd say, or sort of like a finale slash cliffhanger for the confrontation between Rick and the Whisperers. Sort of. It's like, okay, this is ended this chapter, and this is what's going to come after it. That's what kind of happened here. So, what I can say about this issue is the first two words I have to describe it are bloody and speechless. Those were my two words describing this issue, because boy oh boy, when I read this the first time I read this, I was like, oh, I was speechless. I was just like, oh. It was amazing. Spoilers for this issue, as always. Every review has spoilers in it for mine. So, what happened? Rick and Alpha were talking as they left off in the last issue, where Rick was brought up to the top of the building, and he sees all the walkers out there, and Alpha was like, I don't want you to think that this is an empty threat, and she just shows them this huge herd of walkers that she has, and that her people are in there. They're like, the Whisperers have their mask on, and they're guiding the zombies, as she says. And she just talks to Rick, and Rick thinks, is this a threat, or what is it that you want from us? And she says, I don't want anything from you people. I think that your way of life is just pointless. You're just playing pretend, and this world is never going to exist, and you're just making it. She says, you've built a shrine to a long dead world. That's what she says to Rick. And she says, this world will never be like that. We can't go back to the way things were, which is how Rick sort of has gotten his communities to be the Hilltop, the Kingdom, the Saviors, Alexandria. He's gotten them all to be cohesive and support each other like a community. And she says that world is just never going to happen. That world is gone, and there's no way we can go back to it. And so basically, she's saying there can only be two people. There can be the alpha and the beta, the dominant and the submissive. That is what she says, and I'm going to refer to that later. And then we switch over to Carl and Lydia, and Lydia warns Carl, like, I know things seem like they're going okay, Carl, but your dad threatened my mother, and she usually doesn't like to interact with other survivors except for only the Whisperer. She doesn't like to interact with anybody else. You usually avoid them. But now that she let your people off with a warning when the Whisperers returned Dante and Ken, I believe, and when they returned them, and then the Hilltop gave back Lydia. They made a trade, and they said, okay, that was a warning. We're not warning you anymore, is what Lydia's saying. It's what her mother feels like. So she just is like, they're toying with you at this point, Carl. Your father came back and threatened my mother. She's not going to like that. Not one bit. Not at all. And we know that partially because of the fact that she had the machete, but Alpha had the machete with the blood on it in the last issue, so we don't know what that was until this one. But Lydia's just telling Carl, this is bad. Really bad. Really, really bad. So then then Rick and Alpha return to the camp, and Carl and Lydia are there, and Rick's just like, okay, Carl, we have the chance to walk away in peace. You and I are leaving. And Carl is saying, no, I'm not leaving without Lydia. And then he lets Rick know, which he found out back in issue 137, which was a while back, but it might have been issue 138. But he tells Rick that Lydia sometimes gets raped during the night by other men in the group, and her mother, Alpha, doesn't do anything about it. And Rick's just like, oh, what? He was more like just in shock. Like, you let that go on? You let your daughter be raped by men in your camp and you don't do anything about that? And he's like really mad. Like, not really, really mad, but he's just like, what happened to you people? That's what he says. Like, what happened to you? And Alpha's just like, this is part of civilization. This has been around before the world went to hell. And she says that, like, rape, why do we pretend that that act has so much power? It's part of our older world, a world that's less terrifying than what we have now. And Rick's just like, no, you don't do that. So, like, Lydia starts crying at this point. She says, I thought that it shouldn't matter to me because that's what her mother taught her. But then she brings up the point that she's lived with Carl's people for a little bit and she's seen the world they have. And she's like, I don't want to be a part of our world anymore. I'd rather go back to their world where they can protect us. And she also says, like, in ways my own mother refuses to protect me. So she wants to kind of leave. And then Alpha's just like, this, you're weak. And then she just talks to Rick about, like, how, like, if I let you off here or whatnot, like, that you'll just forget about this and that these marks will heal. But she says, like, we don't allow the intelligence evolution has given us to make us weak. This is not a world for the weak. This is a world for the strong. And Alpha starts to cry a little bit. And then when Lydia goes to her to, like, see if she's okay, Alpha smacks her. Like, Alpha just straight up smacks Lydia right there. And Rick's like, just, whoa, this is enough. This is enough of that. And then Lydia, no, Alpha just starts crying a little bit. And she's like, I can't offer my daughter the safe life she needs, not here, not safely, but you can. You do not. And then she says to Lydia, you don't belong here, you're weak. You long for the old ways, the broken ways. You belong with them. Be gone with you. And then Alpha delivers the bomb, which is, like, we don't know yet, but she basically says, I've marked our border for you and for your people and my people. I've marked it. You'll know it when you see it. You'll know what border is once you see it. Once you cross it, you never cross back. Never ever come back. Otherwise, my horde will cross onto yours. So she's saying, you leave, you cross the border, and then never come back. Ever. Nothing. No matter what, if you do, you're like the walkers that they have are just gonna go onto their land. And then Rick goes back to the camp where Andrea, Michonne, and Dante were, and he sees, like, no one's there. no one is there at all. And Rick's thinking like, what's going on? And he's thinking worst case scenario, and then he's like, then he gets off his horse, and he's like, oh, and then you see this bomb. Just people's heads on spikes, and you're like, oh boy. And then once you turn it, ooh, the bomb is delivered. We had a total of 12 people who died. This is page 6. You have Olivia, Josh, Carson, Tammy. Olivia's been here since issue like 70, since they got to the Alexandria Safe Zone. Josh has been a friend of Carl. Carson is a friend of the doctor's, or doctor's brother. Tammy was that mother of like the boys that were like beating up Carl and Sophia. And there's Luke, and then there's Aaron. And Luke, we know, because he was part of Magna's group, and he wanted to be with Magna, but she never caught on to that, as far as I know. And you can see all the little pictures below, like illustrating how this is going to affect other people. So it's first 6, and then you have the next 6, which it steps it up a bit. You have Ken, who was actually captured by the Whisperers and then set free eventually, but never returned. And there's Amber, who was Mark's wife, who was part of the Saviors. Mark got like the iron from Negan, like the hot iron, and then it was pressed to his face and it scarred him, and that was his wife there. She was killed. There was a brewer, I don't really know, Oscar, who was a guard for Jesus, and Maggie at the hilltop. He's dead. And then this one's big. Rosita's dead. Rosita, she's been around since like, I think like somewhere around like issue 54. I'm probably wrong on that, something. She's been in here since like right after the prison went down with the governor, so she's been here for a long, long time, and it's like she's just gone now. And she was pregnant, so that's actually 2 deaths right there. And then you have one more, and Rick's just horrified. You can also see everybody below. Rick's horrified, and it's Ezekiel. He's dead. Ezekiel is dead. Oh, but he was this huge, huge part of like All Out War, and like he helped beat Negan, and he's been here since issue 104. That was the first issue he was in, so he was around for 40 issues. And Rosita was around for like I think something like 50, maybe 90 issues, maybe. Might have been more, might have been less. I can't really remember, but oh my god. The big ones were Ezekiel, Rosita, and I'd say Olivia. I liked a few of these other people like Luke and Ken. That was mostly it, but like some of these people have been around for a while. A lot of these characters here are really cool and really important, and then Lydia's just like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I had no idea that this happened. And then Rick is just like, why the fuck? It doesn't make sense. Why would they? And then the next page is Rick, and then Andrea, Michonne, and Dante are there, and Andrea just asks, what do we do now? And Michonne's crying, and Carl's crying, and Rick's almost crying, I think. But it's just bad. Like, Michonne and Ezekiel were things, so that really affects Michonne. It affects everybody. But now that we break it down, though, Ezekiel was basically the leader of an entire community of Rick's group. Killing a leader of an entire community is like declaring war, which is probably what's going to happen now. Like, everything's just been building, building, and building, and building, and building, and then this issue just went like this. It was gasoline, lighter, and poof, it all just burned. Everything burned. Like, this is not like the reason. Also, like, I wanted to jump back to this was the reason why um, Alpha did this partially was because she mentioned there's dominant and submissive. She wants to be the people that are dominant, and she wants all the other survivors to be submissive. So when she does something like this, kills 12 people of the communities, she's trying to be like dominant and say, hey, this is what happens. Don't ever cross us again. So you will just submit and not do anything and never ever come back to us. So she's trying to be dominant and have the other group be submissive. Alpha, beta. But that's not gonna roll. I don't like this. Just built, and now it's just on fire now. So I don't think there's a way to avoid this war. She killed 12 people, technically 13 because Rosita was pregnant. So she killed unborn baby. That's pretty bad. But this isn't good. Like, because you killed 13 people. 13 people that all have friends, families, people that they care about, groups that are all just gonna be affected. Like, what happened to this person? What happened to this person? What happened to this person? Rick eventually might break the news, and then like that's just gonna make everybody mad. Like, everybody's like, we need to declare war now, and then Rick's probably gonna be in a spot where he's like, because the thing is that even if this does break to war, you gotta think about what Rick's thinking. It's like they have like thousands and thousands of walkers that are just ready to march to like the communities, which they have dealt with zombies before, like in No Way Out. This was probably like 3 times that many, maybe more. Who knows? Probably 5 times as many zombies than there was in No Way Out, but I can't really tell. But this is just gonna break to war probably, but Rick's gonna be like, I don't want war because we already went to war with like all out war with Negan. We don't want to have to do that again because it's just like, it's not good. We've had 2 years of peace, 2 years of peace and prosperity for the most part probably, but this is just gonna bring war back to to Alexandria, to the hilltops, the saviors, the kingdom, everything. Robert Kirkman, you did a great job again. You and Charlie Adler, you both pulled it off. You've always done well. You've always been an amazing team, amazing writer, amazing artist. Just this, The Walking Dead is my favorite comic book series of all time. Batman's my favorite comic book character, but The Walking Dead is probably the best comic book series of all time because every issue I'm just like, I want to pick it up day one, I can read, I can find out what happens. We're all just so excited for this. It's great to have a comic book that you love. So I'm gonna give this issue I'm gonna give it a 10. This was a great issue. It was sad, it was powerful, it brought emotion to me. It was great. It was just great. A very good, solid issue to the end of Compendium 3. And now, we're having, yep, issue 145, Blood for Blood, which comes out tomorrow, actually. By the time that I upload this video, it'll probably come out tomorrow, but, yeah, this video will probably be up, like, I don't know how long, but it might be August 12th by the time that this video is uploaded to YouTube. But then I'll review issue 145 as soon as I can. Just life happens, so I put this off for forever, but hey, it's like So anyway, that was, I'm rambling now, but let's just sum this up. Walking Dead issue 144, dot dot dot. It was amazing. Made me cry a little bit, I think. I don't know. I might be exaggerating, but I love the Walking Dead comic book series. It's great. Anybody that hasn't read the comic books but has only seen the show, I highly recommend you read the comics. Just start from the beginning and you will appreciate it forever. It's great. Alright, that's it. I'll see you again for my next review. Bye.